Good morning. Just to recap, since Saturday, Sunday we took off. Yesterday we met and took a look at what we can fix on film from the UMass game, and took the big takeaways from that. Trying to figure out how we navigate all of our challenges, knowing. An hour before practice at 11 o'clock, I found out that Jesse would, in fact, need surgery to correct his wrist. So, once again, another challenge that we got to deal with and face head on. But that's what we're going to do. I've said throughout this whole thing, we're not going to be a victim. We're going to take our challenges head on, and we're going to attack them. So here we are with another one that we're going to have to overcome, especially knowing we got two really hard games coming up even before we break for Christmas. So looking forward to bringing in Darius Nichols, a very, very good friend of mine and probably the closest friend I have in the coaching business, coming into town tomorrow, and look forward to seeing him. And he's got a really good team. And, in his third year there at Radford, he's really elevated that program to a high-level team that I think has a very good chance of winning their league. So, we'll go again today, and we'll attack this challenge head on, and look forward to taking on a good Radford team tomorrow.
So Jesse's injury, in terms of details of it, extensive break. Well, how bad was, significant was the surgery? What can you tell us about the details?
I believe the surgery is tomorrow. I'm not sure the intricacies of the surgery and the names of the bones or anything like that. I was a business major, like I said before, so I try to stick to what I know, and more than anything, I just wanted to know how quick he could recover and whether it's something he would be back for us this year, and it sounds like that will be the case. So we're looking at probably around 4-week recovery time. So we'll do everything we can with him in practice to keep him ready to go and engaged and locked in, so he'll be ready to transition right back in when that time comes. And I have full faith in Jesse staying on top of everything and being engaged. So that's nothing I'm concerned with there. But it will be a challenge from, the fact that there for the longest time we didn't, have any guard depth. Now we have some guard depth, but we don't. We never had a backup center. So here we are trying to play without a center. So we'll figure it out, and we'll take this challenge head on.
Jesse's mood when you told him, or he found out?
He was cautiously optimistic before the MRI and the X-ray, but he had this injury his junior year with his left wrist. So he said it didn't hurt nearly as bad this time around. So, but it sounds like he had a very similar, if not the same, injury to his left his junior year. So he was well aware of what it could be, and it sounds like that was the case, that it was worst-case scenario.
4 weeks, best case for him to come back?
That's just the timetable I've been told at this point. So I'm guessing that's probably the minimum recovery time.
Yes, your two options then is to either use a Cook or Pat or go small, right? Those are the two, or just go completely a different route? Yeah,
I mean, you look at a Cook at the 5, and I know that's not his natural position by any means, but he's very serviceable at the 5, and I hate for him to play that many minutes at the 5. But then we also have Pat Sumnick that has been waiting for his opportunity, and I'm sure he didn't want the opportunity to come this way. But he's going to have to step up to the plate for us and give us everything he's got, and hopefully he can service that role.
You spoke to the officials about, before he got hurt, about the way he was being promoted during that game. It's happened all year. I mean, people have been pounding him pretty good down low. What can be done about that? What is the officials' responsibility in protecting players who are in that situation?
Well, I mean, I've said it over and over again. That's people's strategy against us. They know we don't have a backup big, and anybody with any depth was going to completely, use their depth to be as physical as possible with Jesse. And I think it started in the SMU game down in Fort Myers. I thought that's when they really started to take advantage of us and understand that that would be our kryptonite by just completely using their depth to foul him. And what I can do about it, there isn't a lot I can do about it, but I can vocalize it the best I can. I knew going into that game by the numbers, UMass was 346th in the country in opponents' free throw attempts, and we were second in the country in that same stat, only allowing our opponents to go to the line 10.7 times. Consequently, they were sending people to the line 26 times, and for whatever reason, Frank found a way to flip the script on us, and they shot 20 more free throws. So I knew going into it, and I was very clear with our team that Frank and his personality is going to, I know how he's going to approach this game. He's going to use as much physicality as possible to negate some of our skill, and he certainly took that approach. And from a coaching perspective, he's doing everything he can to figure out how to win, and he used that approach. And the way the game was called, I warned those officials during the game, like somebody's going to get hurt. Especially, the one I was concerned about was Jesse, and I'm always concerned about Jesse, the way they attack him.
Coach, if the roles were reversed, you were coaching UMass, Frank was coaching West Virginia, situations being the same. I mean, the strategy, your strategy would kind of be the same way, wouldn't it, though?
Yeah, that's what I said. From a coaching perspective, it makes
right.
sense.
Yeah.
So you feed off how the game is called to figure out whether you need to make adjustments or whether. So it was critical how the game was going to be called, and they allowed it to happen, and consequently here I am without an all Big 12 center that I don't have any depth for to replace. So it's unfortunate. It's very unfortunate.
When you guys met after the game, was that part of any conversation, you and Frank?
Yeah, it was part of the conversation.
Was it?
It was a brief part.
You said before the game he's a friend of yours.
Yeah,
is he still?
He'll always be a friend of mine. He's been very loyal to me and a mentor of mine. And I don't think by any means they had any intention of hurting Jesse Edwards. They knew they were going to be very physical with Jesse Edwards, and consequently, the way the game was called, he gets hurt.
How's he now? Is he better?
He's not 100%. He went yesterday, and you could tell it wasn't Raekwon at his 100% level, but he's getting there. He's certainly on the mend. So hopefully I see even more improvement today, and so I'm excited for him that things are going in the right direction for him in terms of his health. So even the entire day on Saturday, he warned that he thought he wouldn't be able to play, but I said, well, let's pump the brakes, figure out what we can do for you throughout the day. I didn't bring him to shoot around, let him rest, and by the time we were loading the bus and heading in, he was getting ill, even walking into the building. So I knew at that point that he wouldn't be able to go today, and being down 13 pounds, and I'd be doing a disservice by throwing him out there in the conditioning he was in, or forcing the action, so to speak.
Plan to play him Wednesday?
Yes, 100%.
Can he play a small forward position or more shooting guard? Necessity may dictate.
Yeah, it's typically who you can guard in terms of your position in basketball, and he can guard 1, 2, or 3. So obviously he's not going to be the one handling the ball by any means, but he can guard the 2 or the 3. So that's not a problem there.
Darius doesn't have a super big starting lineup, but he does bring bigs off the bench. But if you look at him, they got 3 guys that can shoot threes. They got a guy that's blocked 25 shots, and they got a guy that's grabbed 44 offensive rebounds. So there's some unique challenges with him, aren't there?
No, certainly. Their bigs are like they do a lot of the intangibles. I think his biggest strength are those three guards, especially in the starting lineup, and they got some good guards that come off the bench as well. But their bigs play their role to what they can give their team, and they certainly play that at a high level. We talk about it as basketball coaches all the time. Excel in your role. That's how you help a team win. And he's got guys that are excelling in their role and bought in, which is, it's you look at coaches and trying to build a program, and it's usually year 3 when they really start to peak, and they're starting to peak, and they're playing really, really well. They're playing good basketball.
Coach, with the situation that Noah and Kerr, when they were sitting out, and obviously, they practiced, but there were other things you had to get ready for. With the way they played Saturday, any of that surprise you, considering the situation that they had been in, and then moving forward, I'm sure there's probably some, thoughts on what they can accomplish moving forward.
Yeah, going into it, none of us in our wildest dreams thought Noah would be playing this year, and so he put a lot of his focus and energy into helping us on the scout team. And we didn't get him nearly the reps that we would have got knowing that he's going to be, thrown into the fold. He would have been getting all kinds of reps knowing that was coming. So we primarily kept him, if we were going to get extra reps at the point guard, it was kind of going to be JB, or it was going to be Kobe and Kerr. So not knowing, so we kind of did ourselves a disservice. I guess, we had no idea. So we used him where we could use him when we thought it'd be benefit the program, and that's primarily on scout team. Has he done a good job of keeping up with what we're doing offensively? I think he's got a high enough IQ to pick it up really fast. He certainly doesn't know it as well as those other guys that got so many reps. But he was a pleasant surprise, and we didn't throw out a lot of sets out there, if you noticed, during that game, because we had a lot of new guys out there. So you got to have 5 guys on the same page. So we kind of simplified the offense, and Noah's he's a challenge to guard and stay in front of. He's as quick as anybody. Is his first step and getting into the paint, and he really gave us a different dynamic. So. I'm excited to continue to, get him into the fold, and him and Kerr on the floor at the same time. That'll be something you'll see more and more of.
All year, your biggest problem's been rebounding.
Yeah.
And now you lose Jesse. How do you approach that problem? I mean, you say you're not going to be a victim. So
Yeah, well, we keep drilling it, and hope it gets through their head. We continue to tell these guys going into these games. Until we buy in on the rebounding, we're going to struggle. We're going to struggle to beat anybody. So it's certainly a buy-in thing. A lot of rebounding is effort and discipline, and we haven't shown that just yet, where we're consistent. And now you're losing your leading rebounder. Hopefully that wakes those guys up that really realize that this is truly, truly important as a key to victory each and every night.
With Noah, is it kind of like a crash course now for him? And, he played 18 minutes the other night. I'm guessing, he could probably maybe go a little bit more than that moving forward.
When you say crash course, we're transitioning 3.5 guys in.
Right.
So Raekwon's coming into the fold. Noah's coming into the fold. So maybe 3/4 of the stuff that we've ran in the past, that everything went through Jesse Edwards, that's going to go away, or it's just going to be tabled for a month. Yeah, it's not like that's something we can force the issue on like we did in the past. Our bread and butter there, so to speak. So much was going through Jesse and playing inside out, and now offensive approach is going to have to take a left turn.
I was going to ask you that. You went into the season with a plan that had Jesse as a big part of it. Is Is it going to have to force you to be a little creative?
So much for having a plan, right? What's the point of planning anymore? So it's a day-to-day thing. You know, you accept the challenges and you try to navigate them. And you know, I had great meetings with the staff leading up to this, you know, the fall, and this is what, you know, we have as a roster, and let's put together the best course of action offensively. But every time you get saddled with a challenge, Raekwon's not playing, Kerr's not playing. You know, you see light at the end of the tunnel. You got your whole roster coming, and then Jesse gets hurt, and you still haven't played with what you anticipated being your starting five.
But what you do have coming back, I mean, the strength of this team is probably going to shift to being more guard-oriented.
Yeah,
Perimeter-oriented.
it certainly will.
Perimeter-oriented.
And, you know, I keep on saying I want to play fast, and we certainly got the guards to do it now. And now can we rebound? Can we finish possessions so we can get out and run? That's going to be the biggest challenge for us right now.
Josh, is there like some mad science involved here? Like just get in the lab and do your different lineups? And
I wouldn't say mad science. I mean, there's only so much you can do. You have one, you know, we found the news out an hour before practice yesterday. So you go with what you got in the playbook, and you kind of simplify things. And then you get your heads together, and which we did this morning, to figure out what our game plan is with practice today, and then, you know, you play tomorrow. So you're not going to have wholesale changes in, you know, 3 hours of practice.
but across time, though, you have a couple of weeks here to figure out what works, not trial and error, but like keep this and put this in the back burner.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, that's a day-to-day thing that we'll continue to work on and manipulate, so to speak, each and every day to figure out what our best advantage is from the offensive perspective.
You go into it saying, okay, maybe not my best 5 players, but the best 5 together. Is that how you're going to have to look at it?
Yeah, probably. You know, I haven't quite made a determination who's going to be my starting 5. I have an idea, but I want to make sure, you know, everything works correctly today in practice. You know, if there's synergy with that group, I'll stick with them and figure out who's going to give me that spark off the bench, because as a coach, you always want to figure out, you know, somebody that can change the game coming off the bench. And maybe that guy might be 100% worthy of starting, but if you want to help sacrifice for the good of the team, you put that on the back burner and you say, okay, I'm going to accept my role. I'm going to accept my role, and I'm going to take it on, and I'm going to excel in that role.
What does Jesse's absence mean for Quinn's role? How does it affect him?
Well, I don't see him really. It's not going to change much. His role changes more due to the fact we got more guard play in there. We got more scoring options in there from the guard play. So we won't have to rely on him as much to isolate him, and the offensive game can kind of come naturally to him rather than forced. Sometimes we had to force the issue with Quinn because he could create a bucket for the team. You know, with his guard skills at his size, it was very helpful. And so I don't see him by any means sliding down, playing the 5 and playing small if that's what you're trying to get to. So we're just going to have to certainly work with a Cook and try to get him as maximize his minutes and efficiency and get Pat in there and get him as much confidence as possible.
Go ahead.
When Raekwon is at his best, what does he bring for your team?
He's probably our best athlete. He's so quick-twitched. Even Raekwon, when he makes a bad decision defensively, he can recover so fast. So not only is he hard to go by, he's a natural scorer. He's a natural athlete. He can run. He can jump. He can create his own shot, which that's one of the hardest things in college basketball to do, is get your own shot. And say there's 10 seconds left on the clock, he can go get a shot. He can rise up and get a mid-range shot or lift up quicker than most guys on our team, and maybe majority of all guys on our team. So he gives us that different dynamic, and I'm looking forward to trying to get him back in the fold as quickly as possible.
A couple of weeks ago, you said that you were keeping your eyes open for addition at the semester break, but that was before Raekwon got his eligibility, and obviously Farrakhan. So does that change? You're looking for somebody, or are you still looking for somebody?
Still looking. I mean, certainly if a big that it could help us right away, I mean, that's way more attractive than it was a week ago. A week ago we were thinking, would we have Raekwon? Would we have Noah? And do we need guard depth? And trying to figure out a guard out there that could help us immediately. Now that's kind of changed. We could have pulled the trigger on a couple that were kind of borderline, could help you, didn't know, but we didn't, and glad we didn't, knowing the fact that, now we have some guard depth, but we're lacking the forward depth. So times change quickly. And I think Darius, I look back at, I remember when Kerr got his suspension, he heard the news, and he's always the one that's quick to call me and give me advice, and he puts things in perspective probably better than anybody I have in my my coaching circle. So I remember him saying, and I think I quoted it, it's like, just ride those waves, coach. Get on that boogie board and ride those waves. So he's got a great approach to it, and we speak to each other weekly, if not more, and he does a really good job of checking in on me, and he's truly a great friend.
I suspect you're ignoring his advice this week.
Yeah, I called to get a scouting report on Sunday, but he didn't answer, and so I was watching Teddy's game, and he called, and I was trying to get some details from him, but
The wells run dry this week.
yeah, he's tight-lipped this time. And I got a text from James Herring yesterday after the radio show, and I was careful what I said because I know how diligent a worker he is. So he listened to the radio show too. If he could get a little tidbit of any advantage he could get, he would get it. And so he texted me.
Some misinformation out there.
Yeah, and I said, does not surprise me that you listened to that. So.
Coach, this is going to be kind of a tough question, and I don't think there's really anyone that can kind of understand the situation you've been put in this year. But at some point, there's going to be some kind of decision made and evaluations made. Do you think there's any fair way possible to evaluate what you've accomplished here, in the sense that, you didn't have a starting point guard for X amount of time, and you didn't have Raekwon, and now you're not going to have Jesse for a month? I mean, I don't think there's any fair way to evaluate you under those circumstances, but
I don't know. It's a good question. I just continue to take the approach, I'm going to make the best decisions possible for the people in this program I'm representing, and continue to do the right thing in terms of who I'm representing. I know I'm representing a hardworking group of people in this state, 1.8 million people that go to work every day and grind. That's the same approach I'm going to have. And I'm going to represent this university the best way I can and make good decisions for this university when I'm at the helm. How they judge me on that's totally up to someone else. I'm going to be true to my character and my beliefs and the way I want to run things and do the things the right way, and that's all I can do.
Josh, the nature of all the stuff you've been through, like coaches do work with each other sometimes for advice on, like scouting, right? But the outreach to you from people, eligibility issues, medical stuff, how to handle that when you don't know, all the stuff you've been through is kind of unique to this particular situation. Are you surprisingly popular? I know that makes sense, but like, are you surprised, or is that even existing when people are coming out of the woodwork to ask you questions about how they do things that maybe 6 months ago you never thought you'd have to deal with, because they are so unique to the situation?
Yeah, there's been so many situations that are completely unique. I mean, going into it, and I remember when I got the job, and I was excited and ready to take on anything and everything, and I had no idea going into the job I would be saddled with so many challenges. But I mean, what do you do other than look at it as a complete growth opportunity for myself and everybody involved in the program? You know, we were down 18 against UMass, and they certainly could have, you know, folded and acted like a victim, but that's not the approach I've ever relayed to them. So we're going to fight and fight to the bitter end, no matter what situation we're saddled with.
Darius is one, but I mean, is it hard to get advice on these things? Because like the Cook's condition, I mean, who do you go for that? Or like now with Jesse, okay, like my center is pulled out in the middle of the season. These are all, some are basketball issues, but some are not. Like,
I mean, Darius gave me advice on that one with the Cook. I mean, he had they dealt with Keontae's situation, and they were close. So he gave me some advice on that. Not that from a coaching perspective, not from a medical perspective by any means, but there's a lot of things as a coach, and especially in the big chair at the end of the hallway that you deal with that you would never really believe was, you know, part of the job description. So, you know, and that's part of it. You know, 95% of it has nothing to do with X's and O's. It's all about leading your program and lead them in the right way.
Coach, thank you.
Thank you.